The cemetery was silent except for the slow crunch of gravel beneath the billionaire's polished shoes as he stood before his father's grave, a place he avoided because it stripped away every illusion of control he had built around his life. The marble headstone gleamed in the cold morning light, carved with a name the world respected and feared, yet all it gave him now was a hollow ache. Just as he lowered his head, two small shadows appeared near the grave, thin and trembling, and what those homeless twin girls said moments later would crack open a past he had spent years trying to bury. If you believe in kindness quests second chances, and that fate often speaks through unexpected voices, take a moment now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. Jonathan Reeves had everything the world associates with success in the United States. Raised in a powerful Christian household, he inherited not just wealth, but an empire of manufacturing plants, real estate, and influence. From the outside, his life looked flawless, yet inside he carried a quiet, constant weight. His father, Samuel Reeves, had been a strict man, deeply religious but emotionally distant, a provider who believed love was proven through discipline and sacrifice rather than affection. Jonathan spent his childhood chasing approval he rarely received, and adulthood proving he could surpass a legacy that never truly embraced him. When his father passed away, Jonathan felt grief mixed with unresolved resentment, a complicated silence that followed him even to this grave. He visited the cemetery on the anniversary of his father's death, not out of habit but obligation, standing there in an expensive coat that did little to keep out the cold. As he placed fresh flowers on the grave, movement near the old oak tree caught his attention. Two young girls, no more than 8 years old, stood a few steps away, holding hands tightly as if the world might pull them apart if they let go. Their clothes were thin, mismatched, and clearly not meant for winter. Dirt smudged their cheeks, and their eyes carried a seriousness far beyond their age. Jonathan felt irritation first, a reflex born from years of guarding his private spaces. Then he noticed how the girls were staring not at him, but the name carved into the stone. They stepped closer, hesitant but determined, as if this place meant something to them. The guards he usually brought were not with him that day, and for a moment he did not know what to do. The silence stretched, heavy and uncomfortable, until the girls spoke words that cut straight through him, words that no stranger should have known. They spoke of Samuel Reeves not as a powerful industrialist, but as a man who once helped their mother when no one else would, a man who brought groceries, paid for a small apartment, and sat quietly at a kitchen table praying before meals. Jonathan's heart pounded as memories he had never heard surface in front of him, spoken by two homeless children standing at his father's grave. The girls explained that their mother used to bring them here when she could, telling them this was the man who kept them alive when the world turned its back on them. Jonathan felt the ground shift beneath him. He had spent his entire life believing his father cared more about business than people, more about reputation than compassion. Yet here were two living testaments to a side of Samuel Reeves he had never known. The girls explained their mother had passed away the previous year, and since then they had been moving between shelters, sometimes sleeping in cars, sometimes wherever they could find warmth. They had come to the grave not to ask for money, but to say thank you, because this was the only place they felt close to the man who once saved their family. Emotion surged through Jonathan in waves he was unprepared for. Guilt, regret, and a sudden aching curiosity collided inside him. He realized he had never truly known his father, never asked questions that might have revealed this quiet generosity. Samuel Reeves had lived two lives, one the world saw, and one he kept hidden, perhaps even from his own son. Standing there, Jonathan understood that the distance he felt growing up may not have been indifference, but a man who expressed love in ways Jonathan never learned to recognize. The cold deepened as the wind picked up, and Jonathan noticed the girls shivering. The reality of their situation hit him harder than any boardroom crisis ever had. These were not symbols or stories. They were children living in survival mode, carrying gratitude instead of bitterness. He felt something break open inside his chest, a place long sealed by pride and emotional armor. For the first time, he did not feel like a billionaire, just a man confronted with truth. Jonathan took the girls with him that day, not as an act of charity, but responsibility. He arranged warm meals, clean clothes, and a safe place to stay while social services were contacted. He learned their names, Grace and Hope, names their mother had chosen deliberately, believing faith should be spoken even in hardship. As days passed, Jonathan listened to their stories, fragments of a life marked by loss but not devoid of love. He saw his father through their memories, a man who showed up quietly, who believed kindness did not need applause. As the weeks turned into months, Jonathan's life began to change in ways he never anticipated. He funded long-term housing for the twins, ensured they had access to education, counseling, and stability. But more than that, he began reshaping his own identity. He dug through old journals and letters his father had left behind, discovering records of anonymous donations, scholarships, and families helped in silence. The man he had resented all his life emerged as someone deeply committed to living his faith beyond public recognition. Jonathan's business practices shifted as well. He implemented programs within his companies focused on supporting homeless families, single parents, and children aging out of foster care. He visited shelters personally, not for publicity, but understanding. Every step felt like a conversation he was finally having with his father, a delayed but necessary reconciliation. Grace and hope flourished in stability, their laughter slowly replacing the guarded, quiet Jonathan first met the grave. They visited the cemetery with him often, no longer as homeless children seeking connection, but as family remembering someone who changed all their lives. Jonathan found peace there too, not because the past was erased, but because it finally made sense. Just before the story ends, take a moment to comment below and share whether you believe that the truth about someone can change your entire understanding of love and legacy.